You are watching the Doctalk show.
The first week of August is World Breastfeeding Week. Many of us may not know what this means. That's why we have experts in the field of lactation or breastfeeding from TMR International Hospital to tell us more about what this week commemorates. Dr. Doreen, given your experience and expertise as a breastfeeding expert, what exactly does this World Breastfeeding Week mean? What do you commemorate?
Well, the World Breastfeeding Week, like you have said, is commemorated in the first week of August every year. It's an international celebration, so it's not limited to Uganda, although in Uganda we celebrate the whole month.
Okay.
So World Breastfeeding Week is about drawing people's attention back to the importance of breastfeeding, its benefits, and its value to mothers, babies, families, and societies at large. So we draw attention around it, and there are themes we go with. The theme for this year is empower parents and enable breastfeeding. And
Empower parents and enable breastfeeding.
yes.
Okay.
So that's the theme we are running with this year. There's a theme every year. So this year, that's what we are emphasizing, because we realize that a mother and a baby are not a standalone unit. There is more to them. There are so many other people around them, and that impacts on how successful they will be with breastfeeding.
Okay.
So employers are very critical in helping mothers to continue breastfeeding even when they go back to work.
They
So-
should empower the parents. the
Exactly. They
mothers.
should actually support them. They should create supportive work spaces.
This question specifically to you, Dr. Doreen. I've heard of the concept of 1,000 days at the TMR hospital. What does that mean?
The first 1,000 days is a concept about the life of a child from when the child is conceived to the child's second birthday. It has been found from research and observation that when a child is well taken care of in terms of nutrition, in the first 1,000 days, it has a critical influence on the rest of their lives. And so the antenatal period falls within the first 1,000 days. And so at TMR, we take this very seriously. We have antenatal classes that we offer mothers where we give them evidence-based information and support them in the antenatal period so that this child's life is well taken care of in terms of nutrition. We go ahead to support them even when the child has been born. And, you know, on to the antenatal period, the perinatal period, the time of labor and delivery, immediate postpartum period, and the postnatal period, and into the child's second year of life.
Mothers have several challenges. What are some of those critical challenges you have encountered, and how have you helped them?
A number of times when we see these mothers, we find that when they come and they deliver, there's a lot of pressure. Pressure from the auntie, pressure from the workmate, a friend, because in the first few minutes or first few hours, if the mother is not supported to begin breastfeeding, there's a delay. At the end of it, there's a delay in initiation of breast milk coming.
Okay.
And then you come the following day, you find there's no breast milk. The mother will tell you there's no breast milk.
Just because there's a delay and there are
There's a
challenges
delay.
in the support system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when there's a delay, the baby starts crying, even if it is not because of anger. They just say, go and buy milk.
Dr. Doreen, how do you address these challenges, for example, at TMR? Because mothers come with so many challenges, whether it's social support, poor initiation of breastfeeding, little milk. What happens at TMR that is different from other?
From what Dr. Kena said, I realized that preparation before you give birth is very critical. Most mothers might think or believe that since breastfeeding starts after you give birth, that's when you need to seek help or seek support. But this is very critical. It starts before you give birth in the prenatal or antenatal period. Okay. And so at TMR, we have put a lot of emphasis on giving mothers evidence-based information about how to prepare for breastfeeding, you find things like the shape of the nipple can be a serious hindrance to breastfeeding. Babies do not latch on the nipple, they latch on the areola, but that can be a challenge for mothers. The size of the breast can be a challenge. I find that many people want mothers to use the same position irrespective of the size, shape of their breast or nipples, which is not appropriate. And then comes the next critical part, labor and delivery. We have already said that mothers need to breastfeed within the first hour. So if, for example, a health worker doesn't know that that's important, or a mother didn't get that information in the prenatal period, you will find that there is that delay that we are talking about, which can be remedied just by having information, but also having a more supportive maternity team. And so at TMR, we put a lot of emphasis on time for the mother. So, for example, after a normal delivery, we do not expect visitors within the first 4 hours. You realize within those first 4 hours, there is that first hour. There is time, the mother needs time to rest. The mother needs time to bond. The mother should not be observed, you know. You might not be very comfortable being observed by a whole, myriad of family. And this baby is going to be with the family for a long time. Surely that time is not too much to ask to allow the mother to be able to breastfeed. For C-section deliveries, in our culture, we like attending to visitors, When a visitor comes, you will not retreat to the bedroom and, leave them there. And yet, you have a baby. You have a wound. You need to give time to the baby to breastfeed. And so those things are very important for mothers.
They're very important in the preparation of a mother. And this happens in the antenatal period, so that by the time they start breastfeeding, they already know what to do.
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Kenna, given the importance of antenatal care in breastfeeding, how do you advise, what do you advise mothers to do in that time?
Well, normally as a practice with the doctors, basically obstetricians, they tend to have very little time with these mothers. And that's the general practice. No one can deny it. They tend to have little time to interact with these mothers. And more importantly, when they interact, they concentrate more on the condition of the fetus inside there and the condition of the mother.
And they forget about
after
the
delivery
time
is
after.
a later issue. So what now happens at TMR, we have a specialist in breastfeeding. As we know, that breastfeeding, breast milk is one of the most important, actually the most important meal for a baby. So we emphasize so much that the mothers who are pregnant, they attend antenatal classes. And in that antenatal classes, one of the most important sessions that is given to them is about breastfeeding. So what we do, we prepare them and tell them about the classes, and we direct them to the specialist, who will take them through. So for us now at TMR, it is a little bit easier. By the time a mother delivers, is already aware of what to do.
Or what, so they can anticipate challenges and they know how to handle it.
Yes, even the relatives, we tell them during antenatal that when you come for delivery, this is what we expect from you. Even after delivery, we have a communication that they go through. So it is now easier.
Okay.
Even my life has become easier.
Your life has also changed as a result.
It has changed.
Okay. So I wonder, Dr. Doreen, how easy is it to involve fathers of the babies? How easy is it to involve them in this antenatal preparation?
At TMR, we encourage partners, spouses, fathers, to come along with their wives, with the mothers, to the class. So we will not wait for them till later. We encourage them to come to the class. And we see a significant involvement of fathers in the care of the babies. There is something called skin-to-skin contact. We encourage it for the mother, but also for the father.
The father can also do
Yes.
it. And what does it mean, that skin-to-skin?
Skin-to-skin means putting a baby who is naked with only a diaper onto the naked skin of its mother or father.
And what would that do?
What that does is it's a gentle transition from the intrauterine to the environment they are in now. It's gentle because also the baby is still with their mother. They hear familiar voices, they hear the heartbeat, they are not stressed out because of that separation of birth. And we encourage the fathers to also participate. Not only will it help the mother psychologically knowing that her spouse is involved, because babies are made by two people.
So after the break, we shall now talk about a very important issue, nutrition in a breastfeeding mother. What foods should the mother eat? Are there foods the mother should avoid? Are there foods that can increase a mother's breast milk? More about that coming after the break. Don't go away.
You are watching the Doctalk Show.